Yo, Michael T. Porter here. Welcome to Rooted in Music TV, where everything that we talk about, everything that we discuss is rooted in music. Oh, let's check this story out. The North, New York, can't stand the South. I don't know why. The South been doing some great things for hip hop. But let's check this thing out. This is according to MSN.com, Billboard. Story written by Angel Diaz. The Mexicans be showing blacks a lot of love, y'all. They hate us, but they love us too. Uncle Luke recalls fighting New York rappers over Southern rap. Hey, Uncle Luke had to put his 2 cents in and say, hold on, New York, you ain't gonna just be dissing the South like that. Uncle Luke has something to say about Southern rap music. The 2 Live Crew frontman celebrated 40 years of Miami hip-hop by giving fans a history lesson on his Instagram account about the group's early struggles to be taken seriously by fellow rappers from New York, specifically Run DMC, Salt and Pepper, Kid and Play, Eric B., Rakim, and Redman. Damn. I ain't know 2 Live Crew was getting all that hate. I ain't think Redman would be hating. Damn. Rakim, Eric B., Kid and Play, they were all hating on 2 Live Crew. All hating on them boys from Miami. He recalled a time when they were on the road and got into it with various rap crews as they tried to perform their sets. You know how many fights I had to have, he asked rhetorically. He was in Biloxi, Mississippi, got into a fisticuffs with Run DMC on stage because he was them niggas from Miami and we were Bama. Getting ready to get into a fisticuff with who? With Redman. Goes into that record. Everybody had disrespect for us, talking about the South. We weren't supposed to be in hip-hop. This Uncle Luke's take on how vicious that hate from New York was for Southern rappers. They made Southern rappers feel like they didn't belong in hip-hop. Luke then brought up the group's beef with Salt and Pepper and Kid and Play over their remarks on an episode of BET's Video Soul hosted by Donnie Simpson that the music 2 Live Crew was making wasn't hip-hop. They saying the music that they were making, Kid and Play and Salt and Pepper said that 2 Live Crew was not making hip-hop. Salt and Pepper and Kid and Play, all of them, which I love them to death. We friends right now today, but they got on BET and said that shit they doing in Miami is not hip-hop. When I saw them, I had to have a conversation with them. In 1990, 2 Live Crew addressed those comments on the interlude Ain't Bullshittin' Part 2 off the controversial album Banned in the USA, in which they hurl homophobic insults for about 6 minutes. He then brought up Redman again and elaborated on the New Jersey's rapper song I'm a Bad, in which he has a skit in the middle mocking 2 Live Crew. What Redman and them do on their record, he asked again rhetorically. They did a whole skit. Go listen to the record. They were making fun of our slang. Once again, if you guys want to check out this article, it's msn.com. Oh man, let's jump into this thing. I'll meet y'all on the other side. Music lovers, let's go. Music lovers, did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Uncle Luke said he had to hit him with the 1. Hit them with the 2, representing the 2 Live Crew. New York would hate on them and me, especially you. Damn, they saying New York be hating, bro. They saying New York. I don't understand what's the hate, because there's a lot of spitters. Everybody said, oh, we like they say Soulja Slim. There's a lot of prolific. There's a lot of real gutter street political figures that came from the South, and one of the most political figures, one of the most grimy, gritty, versatile artists to come from New Orleans is Juvenile. A lot of people say, now my second home is New Orleans, so I can speak on this a little bit. You know, they're older than me, so I didn't grow up with Soulja Slim and all of them. I grew up on Juvenile because he been doing it for so long, but 2003 is when I take that back. I wasn't in New Orleans, I was in Cali, but Soulja Slim was really getting big, but nobody knew who Soulja Slim was. And around 2002, 2003, the big names, the indie means you're mainstream and you're independent. You're right in the middle. So right in the middle, but that was really buzzing, was Mac Dre, right? Indie be Tech Nine. Around that time, early 2000s. But Tech Nine was out before then. But who was getting I guess that's his second prime. You had Mac Dre. That's all we was hearing back then in Cali. But it's really based off your region. So in the region of New Orleans in early 2000s, it was Soulja Slim was running it. But if you look at Soulja Slim playlist, he talks about the struggle. He talks about what's going on in the streets. You know, we cracking hoes, we robbing, we stealing, we murder, we're trying to survive in this thing. It's our element. New Orleans is at that time was probably I can't even say, because California was poor. It's all across the U.S., but Louisiana holds the throne of being one of the poorest, the most raggediest, the most dirtiest. I'm from the dirty. You heard me? Your shoulder get shot. That's that Juvenile. It's dirty. It's filthy. Bugs, termites. It's hot. It's just a place of misery. But a lot of people say Soulja Slim is a Tupac of New Orleans. I'll disagree. And I'm going to make another segment. I'll just give you my opinion. I'm going to go listen to some tracks to get my brain going. Juvenile is the Tupac of New Orleans. Oh, I said it, nigga. I'm qualified to say that. You hear me? I'm qualified to say that. Juvenile, even though Juvenile gives a lot of props to Soulja Slim, his little brother, even though Juvenile and Soulja Slim is a dynamic duo, even though Soulja Slim had love from BG, all them boys, especially Uptown. If you in that Uptown, they got love for you. C Murder had love for him. Master P had love for Soulja Slim. He was really putting it on for New Orleans. But I think when you think and hear New Orleans, when you hear it, to me, it's Juvenile. You know, when you think about the politics and talking about politics and how the world is, Juvenile. We start talking about God, Juvenile. We talking about being versatile. That's going back to what I was saying, being versatile. He had the bounce music. He can go political. He can go grimy, that street rap. 50 shots gonna set it off. You know what I mean? 50 shots gonna set it off. Get it how you live. You know, that's Juvenile. So Juvenile was been doing this before Soulja Slim, but he giving his love and his props to his little bro. He mentioned him in the Vlad interview, you know, how he felt when Soulja Slim died. But me personally, my personal opinion, when you compare Tupac, you know, but the only difference really is Juvenile wasn't as pushing the agenda for. He was talking about it, but Juvenile just wasn't pushing it as hard, the political and spiritual side. Tupac was pushing it. He believed that he can change the world. And this is the part of Tupac that a lot of people don't want to talk about, because they don't want black men to be inspired. They don't want no man to be inspired today, right? But if we go back to Tupac's legacy, he believed that he can change the world. If Juvenile would have continued on that trajectory and continued to push God, continue to push his love for the people, the poor people, Juvenile and Tupac had a deep love for people, especially poor people that they grew up with. He had a deep, especially the Magnolia, but the New Orleans as a whole, Juvenile had a love for, and all black people. But Juvenile had a real deep love for the Magnolia Project. And he said it once in the interview, it wasn't the buildings, those brick buildings, that made the Magnolia Project. It was the people living in those big brick buildings that made the Magnolia Project what it's known for, what it is, and what it always will be remembered as. It was the people. It was the people suffering. It was the people giving it their best. It was the people surviving in the Magnolia that made the Magnolia. It wasn't the brick buildings. Because when you first see all these buildings, you get overwhelmed. Those of you who have never seen the Magnolia, the Calio, or how they're built up in New Orleans, they're not built like high rises like Chicago and New York. There's only 4 stories tall, but there's hundreds of these buildings filled with people suffering. Y'all flood my comments. What do y'all think about New York's deep hatred for the South? They have some great artists, Soulja Slim, Juvenile, Scarface, a plethora, Big Boy. They have a plethora of intelligent rappers from the South. Why y'all think New York hate the South so much? And was Uncle Luke in the right for throwing them blows, throwing them elbows, putting feet and paws on them New York rappers for dissing them? Uncle Luke wrong for standing up for Florida? Or should he just turn the other cheek? I want to know what y'all perspective. 250 capital G, Rooted in Music TV. I'm gone.